And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Live. How is everyone doing? What is that all about? I don't know what that is. Okay, there we go. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, we have a lot to do. Tonight we're going to be painting a black and white portrait of Martin Luther King. I thought that would be really good to do tonight. We're just going to do it kind of sketch-like, kind of rough, so we get it all done in one sitting. And that's what we got going on. If you've noticed in the chat, I see you guys jumping in right now. There's a brand new sale going on, and I want to talk about that for a little bit. It's really simple. Thank you all for my birthday wishes last Friday. And what I decided to do is do a sale. And it's 40% off everything in the store. And all you have to do is use the code BIRTHDAY. So it's really easy. And that's for you guys. So it'll do just about everything. So I've got a few new paintings, not new paintings, but I've also loaded up the website. So a lot of the paintings that were taken down off the site, I've put them back up, so you'll be able to, if there's a favorite painting that you want, it is likely there. There's a few that aren't on the site, but if you're interested in those, you could just let me know. Things like the Rusty Harley painting, that is not on the site. The Island Creek painting is also not on the site, and the Cincinnati painting. Those three are not. But if you are interested in those, just send me a message, and we could talk. All right, I'm going to try to get this going, and then that. But let me show you the three new ones, the 543s for tonight, and then we'll get right into painting. And yeah, I'll show you a couple other little odds and ends that we need to take care of too. So let me. My camera's not working. Hold on. I got to get a new Createx sweatshirt too. This is my Createx sweatshirt, and I've absolutely beat the crap out of it. It's totally falling apart, but I love it. So I don't know why I thought of that, but yeah, there you go. Hold on. Oh yeah, that worked. Okay, good. Now, this, and let's see if we can get that too. There it is, right there. See? All you gotta do is fix it. Now say hi to everyone. Now that I can see you. JC, what's up? I saw you jump on, JC. Ooh. Volume's up too and everything. There we go. JC, what's up? Swamp Picker, what's happening? Cheese, good to NyQuil. Yeah, buddy. Hey, Gary, what's up? What's going on? Auntie Paula, thank you. Thank you. Adam, what's happening? Dan Mayer, what's good? Gary starts in with the 543s. That's awesome. Good suggestion. Ian Hart, good evening, sir. And Brian Moore and Dawn, what is going on? Hello, everyone. Yay. All right. So let me, is this on? Yeah, this is on now, too. We're going to have to do some craziness for this. I wanted to quickly show you the progress that I have on this little guy. We started him a few weeks ago. I've added some things. See if I can do this, if this is going to work. I've pretty much come up with the direction for this little dude. He is going to have like a flaming tail, which I thought was good. I'm going to make sure I can do this. I'm kind of free-forming it with the focus. And the other thing I decided to do was his rib cage underneath. You can kind of see. I wanted to add that like molten fire to that too as well. And that's the only thing I'm going to do for fire on this. I was going to do their eyes. I might do their eyes, the horse and the skeleton dude, but that's pretty much it for the fire. I think that's enough. And that's how the bottom came out. And then I started working on, it's hard to tell because there's not a lot of light on it. Let's see if I can hold it still in focus. There we go. I started working on the bones. You see they're kind of gray. So it's going to be pretty subtle. I think I'm still going to do like the black metallic, like pearlescent armor. And then maybe, I think maybe gold accents on that. That's what the original thing has. So I think that might be it. But I like it. It's coming out cool, and I'm happy with it. And that's how that is. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at, also, everyone who has green names, they're all members here. Thank you so much to you guys for being members here. You'll also notice that there are a couple new, there's a couple new emojis in there for you guys too. Let me jump over here. I had both of them queued up, but I see only one of them here now, but I'll kind of show you what it is. These are cool. These are I got from the collection of the Butler Institute. These are paintings from the Butler. So you'll notice the sad one, little sad guy. That's the painting I don't have the info on. But here is the other one. Oh no, that's not it. I want this one. There she is. So this is from the painting at the court of Henry III, and so that woman right there, that might be Henry III. I don't know, but anyway, the face was too good, and it was just like the oh really face, you know. So I figured to make a great emoji. So that's one of them, and that of course is Grigory Gluckman, who's one who painted that. I have the info on the other painting too, the sad painting. So if someone says something sad, or if you have something sad to say and don't want to use a sad face emoji, you can use the other one. And this one is the skeptical oh really emoji. So that's that part too. All right. Yeah, later on I think I'll go through some of the paintings that I loaded up on the site that weren't normally on there, but we want to get to getting things done. So let's do it. Yes, there's the oh really cheese grits. So I love that, and there's the sad one. Yeah, there you go. Those are the two. So yeah, next week I have it all done up. I'll show you the full painting of the sad dude, and of course there's the code, so it's on the comments there too, and that's gonna run on for, I think I have it up until the end of the month, so February 1st. So please take advantage of that. That'd be great. All right, 543 for tonight. I want to show you one other quick thing too, because this does fall under 543. The dragonfly that I did a while ago was a popular painting. I actually did it twice, and then another person wanted it, so I did a different version of it. So this is a commission, and I'll show you that. So here's a little dragonfly dude, but this also has that same iridescent blue pearl on the wings. And this one isn't for sale, or you can't win this one. But I did leave the commission item up on the site. So if you want to take advantage of the sale with the commission, that will work. So that's how that little guy came out, which is kind of fun. I love that. That's highlight blue from, are they called highlight blue? No, they probably don't. No, cosmic sparkle blue is what they call that. So it's clear, but then from an angle it lights up, which is a lot of fun. There's this green one, there's a red one, and all that. All right, so let's look at this. And while I'm doing this too, all this housekeeping. Huge thanks to Brian Moore, Honey, Gary Shees, Bobby Silva, and our good friend Bug. Thank you so much for the supers last week. That was amazing. That made me really happy. So thank you. And yeah, all right, let's do it. The 3 for this week. Where's my list? Did I not? No, I wrote it up. I was going to say, did I not write up the list? But I do. I have it. Okay, first one is James Cully. Last week, James asked for the Air Force's Thunderbird, and that, of course, is the F-16. That focused. There we go. The F-16 Falcon. The Thunderbird squadron, the demonstration squadron, was created in 1953, and it was assigned to the 57th Air Wing in Nellis. The original Thunderbird squadron, though, however, was originally formed in Texas in June of 1917. In fact, it's one of the few Air Force squadrons that predates the numbering system. So they don't have a squad number, it's just the Thunderbirds. The T-Birds transitioned to the amazing F-16 Falcon in 1983, and each show is about 75 minutes long and consists of 40 different maneuvers. There are 12 officers and 8 amazing pilots, as well as a score of other support, top-notch support people, including, I think they have a C-130 as their kind of transport plane. But that's my Thunderbird. What's fun about these paintings too, and I've done these paintings for you live. So here's my Thunderbird, my F-16 doing its thing, and I love this, how this came out. The photograph that I used originally, though, is not like great. So there's my original photograph. So it's fun how you can take, the photograph, just a regular photograph, and then just add to it to make it more dynamic. So that's kind of what I did there. The lighting's a lot different, and he pops a lot more. So So that's fun. But I thought of that as I was looking at it, that I would share that too. All right, so that one is just called Thunderbird. I could have sworn I've done the Thunderbirds before, but I have not. Because the way I can tell first off is that the title, usually I've already used the title somewhere. But that one I didn't. So that's Thunderbird. That's number one. Ooh, you only have 3, so doing this like we had 5. There we go. There's Thunderbird. A lot of magnets today. We're not going to need these magnets, but they're left over from doing other stuff. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's fun because, that's the whole thing about using, especially someone else's reference photo. You try to change it, make it your own, and hopefully, make it your vision of what it should be. So, yeah, that's what I hope for anyway. So, Gary, that was very nice of you. Thank you. So, to thank you, yours is the next one. So, Gary last week asked for the Shooting Star, which is the number 9 car from Racer X. So, this is the real car that was built in 2008. Of course, I didn't do this in color because it just would have taken so much longer to do. So, I copped out and just did it in black and white. But this bright yellow car is, of course, driven by Racer X, which is Rex Racer, which is Speed's older brother from the show Speed Racer. It's a rear-engine race car. It features all the fun stuff like oil slick pumps, guns, and jump jacks. So that's my number 9 car, and I got Racer X in there too. So there you go. That's how that one came out. I like that one a lot, and that one's just called Racer X. So there you go. Shooting Star. Mr. Bean. I've never done Mr. Bean. That's awesome. Okay, good. Last but not least is this week's time lapse. So if you remember here again, you've seen it already, which is awesome because I posted it when I should have. Wait a minute. Do we have 2 from James? Wait, no. I screwed up. I'll have to look. James Cully. I have James Cully for both tenor. No, this is Adam. Now I know. Adam asked for the tenor saxophone last week, and this is what I came up with. Originally, when I started laying this out, it was going to be like this, because that's how it would be oriented. Brian, thank you. But I ended up liking it more like this. So there you go. So the tenor saxophone is, of course, the bigger brother to the alto sax. It's also a B-flat instrument, but because it's bigger, it has a deeper, richer tone, and it's always been extremely popular in jazz music. Of course, it was used by the legend John Coltrane, and this particular saxophone that I used, switch over this one, is a Valenke CTS-22, a nickel-plated tenor sax. So that's how that one came out. Done a lot of sax paintings. I like them. I like doing them. So that's that one. And that one's just called tenor. So there you go. All right. So we have 33 fine people on the list tonight. So if you win tonight, you can choose one of these 3, or you can go on my website and just go nuts. You can pick whatever you want on the website. Again, the Dragonfly isn't on the list, so sorry. However, you could, Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. All right, so here's the list. It's 33 people. We'll show it again real quick, but I'll give you a quick rundown. There's all those fine people. This is the fun part about the beginning of the year. Everyone's on the list. So there we go. There's your list for tonight. So good luck, everyone. And that is that. I will get things rolling now, and we'll start working on this painting of MLK. The painting of MLK, I'm not going to put it on the website. We can do bids tonight if someone would like it. Just we could do bids if that works for you guys. So here is, wait, what am I looking for? Yeah, I'm going to do this on an ampersand panel. Just trying to grab stuff behind me here. Flopping all over the place. There we go. Yep. Yep. Okay, I got it. And I did do a few things in advance. So here is the Flip Schulk photo, the iconic photo of MLK. It's just a great photo. So I thought I'd use this. Again, we just talked about the F-16, and thank you, Gary, for saying that my painting looks better than the photograph. I'm going to change things about this a little bit, like the background and the vibe, but it's going to be pretty much this. The photograph is so good. We're just going to roll with that. Again, it's on ampersand panel, which I've already prepped. This is clayboard. If you guys bid on this, I'm going to do my best to keep track, but I'm also going to rely on you guys, because you guys are awesome, to let me know near the end who's got the high bid, so we can make sure that it goes to the correct person. I think I'm going to use a magnet for this. So instead of magnets like, right here, I'm just going to tape a magnet on the back. I think that might be easier to move it around. The panel has ampersand. It's an ampersand clayboard, which is really nice. They're ready to paint. I've talked about this a lot because I use these a lot. You can just paint right on them, but I usually end up putting a ground coat on it, like an underpainting. In this case, it's gray. It just goes really, really well with the black and whites. It's the same gray that I use for the 543s. Spent the last 3 days with Drew Blair and Zoom. Oh, that's awesome, Dan. Dan, I'm sure that was amazing. Let me try to keep up with this. You guys are awesome. Hello, everyone. Hello, Wayne. I saw you. Hello, Rhea. Who else? Michael McClung, what's happening? Michael, I did get to watch a little bit of your feed. I didn't get to talk too much. Did I? No, I was there. I think I was there Saturday. But I watched on Sunday, too. Just for a little bit. All right, let's do this. So I'm just going to stick this magnet right on the back. And now that'll allow that to kind of stick on the board, so I can kind of move it around really easy. And it won't move when I bump it. I should have prepped this, but I did not. So we'll do that real quick, meaning sand it. This says 1500 on it. It's not. This has a lot more bite than 1500. These are cheapo sanding pads that I get from Amazon. They're like, you get a pack of like 20 or 25, and they range in grit from like 320 all the way up to like 3500. They're super not accurate. I mean, this is 1500, but this, when I brand new, this is more like 600. So if you buy these kind of things, take it with a grain of salt. You just got to kind of like feel the front of it to figure out what it's kind of like. I like them because they're cheap, and I like the foam backing on them. What I should do is find a really good quality company that makes nice ones that I can, just kind of rely on. But I got so many of these that I just use these for now until I run out. So you just kind of sand off the spray, the overspray, kind of the dustiness of it, make it nice and smooth. And then I use a Scotch-Brite pad, which is really old and worn. This is like hitting it with like a 3000 sandpaper. So this just kind of cleans it up and takes anything else off the end of it. So that's that. Good. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to remove this camera so that you guys get a close-up view, which I will switch you to in a second. Hey, Patty, what's up? Rusty Spoon, what's going on? Yeah, there you go, Swamp. Exactly. Hey, thanks, Patty. Yay. I know it's like the Mardi Gras weekend here for birthdayness. Oh, speaking of birthday stuff, my cheers tonight is, again, I've been doing a lot of Fathead Brewery. They're right in Cleveland, or outskirts of Cleveland. This is Wicked Willie, which is a very hoppy IPA, which I like a lot. So that's tonight's cheers. Thanks, Brian. It was a good birthday. It was quiet. Oh, scheduling-wise, while I'm getting things set up, I am heading back to Massachusetts on Saturday, And then I will be doing the live stream next week from Keith Hansen's shop in beautiful Bridgewater, Massachusetts. So that'll be a lot of fun. We're going to come up with something to do. He might just work and I may just sit there and hang out. But it'll be a lot of fun. We'll do that. Scheduling wise, I think it's going to be the same. I know I'll have Open Studio for Wednesday, a time lapse for Tuesday. The change in schedule is going to happen the following week because I won't be able to do stuff while I'm there. So there probably won't be an Open Studio in 2 weeks and no time lapse. But I'll have all the live streams. They'll all be good. No, I haven't tried Stumbleberry. Adam, who does that? I know you told me. Grouchy, what's up? Okay, so I got the painting again, or the photograph. So what I've done is I've done all the cutouts first. So again, I apologize if you want to see some X-Acto knife action, but maybe we'll get to it if I need to, cut something out. But what I've done is I made a bunch of photocopies of this, and I'm just going to use these for placement. So the thing of it is, and this comes up a lot, it's like as far as like what you use, and people often ask, do you need to know how to draw to paint? The short answer for me is they're the same thing. Now, there's an argument there. They're not the same thing. But I find that painting is really an extension of drawing, and drawing it is just an extension of painting. So what am I doing? So these things I'm showing you right now with these photocopies, the thing I do this all the time. This just saves me that initial laying out, but it doesn't take the place of drawing it. Like if you were to sketch this in or draw it, or use any kind of methods that you wanted to, like tracing it with carbon paper, Surreal paper, that all just kind of quickens the job. Even if you did all of that, you still need to be able to understand the difference between, a light area and a dark area. And that's something that's universal between painting and drawing. So, well, you don't have to be a great pencil or graphite artist. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it becomes just the medium after a while. So yeah, if you don't want to learn how to draw, then you're going to learn the same stuff as you learn how to paint that you would in drawing. It's just easier to learn it from an academic standpoint from drawing to painting, because drawing you're dealing with a much easier medium to kind of wrestle with. Pencils are a lot cleaner. They don't react the same way, and they don't have as many options, I guess, as painting would. So it's easier to kind of wrestle with it in the beginning, which is why usually when you take art lessons, they start you off on drawing or pencil drawing. Now I'm going to do this so you guys can get that, and I'm going to focus that. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Grouchy, have a good one, man. Oh, my head's in the way, sorry. I'm looking at comments. Yeah, see, there you go. Ian just nailed it. So Ian finds drawing more challenging than painting. So it's a different medium. So it's the kind of thing like if you started your art career and you were learning from a watercolorist and they started you painting right away, and you became a master watercolorist. There was a really, really easy transition, or not easy transition, but you will make a much smoother transition to other mediums because you've got all that painting skill. Because you do have to learn composition and lights and darks and values and contrast and hues and all the stuff that immediately apply to all the other stuff that you would do. So don't get too hung up on it. You know what I mean? If you want to paint. Don't feel like you have to learn how to draw first. It helps a lot, and it's something that you would use a lot. Like for instance, at this time, it would just help you lay this out, if you had good drawing skills. But it's not like 100% cut in stone that you have to do it that way. So that's my point for that. All right. So I've just kind of threw some magnets on here. I've kind of laid it out. We're just going to do a real simple background. There's a wooden panel background in the back, but we're not going to do that. We're going to kind of balance this off. So he's obviously lit from this side, from the left-hand side, and the right-hand side is darker. So we're going to do just the opposite with the background. So this side will be dark and this side will be light, and that will add this nice push and pull to the painting that the photo doesn't really have. Is that Brother Robert? Yeah, it is Brother Robert. Hello, Brother Robert. Robert, this is the only thing I'm going to say about this because, you know, a lot of people's teams have lost in the U.S., but what do you think of those Patriots, Robert? And being, you know, where you are, you probably hear a lot about the Buffalo Bills as well, which was an absolutely wild ride from the time that game ended to today. Holy crap. But we're not here to talk about sports. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do white first. There you go. I know. Yeah, the whole weekend was nuts. Swamp. Between Bo Nix and the only one who really put it to bed was Seattle. They just crushed San Francisco. There was nothing left. So ankle. Yeah, Bob. He broke his ankle on the last play. And I've broken my ankle, and it was similar to that. My foot slipped off of a walkway, and I broke my ankle. I was watching that play after, and yeah, it's awkward, but it's not like he got nailed and blew up. He wasn't hit. He just rolled it the wrong way and just wrecked his ankle. Thank you, Rhea. You're so good. Thank you. All right, so first thing is white. We're just going to bang through this. The idea is to have the face and maybe the hands be kind of finished, and then his shoulders and jacket just kind of fade off at the bottom. That'll save me a little bit of time so we can get it done, but also give a cool, this is not a photograph type of feel. All right, ampersand board doesn't want to, it's thick, so the magnets don't want to stay on it. I should have used jumbo magnets, but this is going to work for now. So again, for this one, I want the light side to be on the back of his head, the dark side, and this will help to kind of push things off. I am going to kind of vignette it off this side too, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker on the edges, and that just kind of gives it that older photograph look too. So we just add this glow behind him. It's not going to be crazy intense, I don't think. Just going to run it till it feels like it's right. Yeah, okay, sorry, I was trying to read comments. I'm going to try to stay up with them. There we go. Obviously, the bid, if you guys do bids on this, the bid is not subject to the sale. So, but the sale works on everything else. So feel free to do that. And like I said, I'll show you at the break. I've put a bunch of paintings back up on the site. Some of my favorites that I had taken down, but it's time. It's time to let those go to good homes. But again, it works on 543s too. I know someone had taken advantage of the sale as soon as it happened, which was Friday. It'll work on that. It'll work on the 543 commissions, which is still up. So if you want your own 543 and don't want to wait for me to, do your suggestion, you can just have me do it. Works on framing, works on all that fun stuff. Works on the prints. It works on the download, but don't do that. The download's like $2. So if you do that, then it actually costs me money, because the processing fees are download a net $0. So if you use the code on the download, I actually owe them money, which, it's $2. Yeah, don't do that. Gary's got the bid of 75. Okay, great, Gary, thank you. All right, so this side again, just a little bit of a dark feel on this side, and that'll help pop. When I pull this off, you'll see what I mean right away. Remember well, I'll show you. It's kind of a neat optical illusion, but we'll get to it in a second. The other thing too, remember I'm going to vignette this side, which you can't really see the top, but you'll get the idea. So what that is I'm just going to add a little bit of darkness right around the edge. And what that does is it gives it this kind of older photograph feel. So the background is very simple now, but it's going to feel like, there's something there. Satriana, Silver Surfer, Ibanez, that is awesome. I always wanted a gem, Adam. I don't know why. I think it's because of the handle. Or is a completely badass guitar. All right, so let's pull this off and I'll show you what I mean. Now, when I pull this is a fun optical illusion. Keep in mind the background color of this is gray, the original gray. But when I pull this, what's fun is, so the way it looks is this side looks darker and this side looks lighter. So that's kind of the goal. That's going to help intensify that, even though this whole gray in here is all the same gray. All right, so I've pre-cut this. So we're going to do the white first, and I'll flip this over so you can see it. Hold on, let me get the white one out of here. Here's the white template, and it looks like this. Yeah, Steve Vai is crazy. So there's the template. It's got a lot of cuts in it, and it'll make more sense as I get going on it. But again, there are a couple ways to do this, and I thought of doing it both ways or the other way, but I've just did it that way. So I figured this would be more fun. I could transfer the image onto the board and then just freehand it and use like the handheld shields, like this one, which we'll use, but like this one. But this is nice because this just helps me get the drawing down right away. So I'm going to use the corners again to register it because that's kind of what I did to start. But I also want to kind of keep an eye on what I'm seeing through the template. Because if I didn't quite get it lined up, I want to make sure that I get it lined up now. And that's good. Now I am going to use the jumbo magnets on this. James, meal prep cooking. Awesome. Good for you, man. I keep saying I got to do that. Turn over a new leaf and meal prep for the week, but I'm terrible and I don't. And then I don't end up doing anything. So I'll use these jumbo. These are also neodymium magnets. They're just different shapes, but these are much bigger and they're stronger. So they'll hold things down in a way. All right, so everything I've cut out is they're the shapes of the light areas, but they're more of indications. And what's a lot of fun about this is when I'm done, you'll see what this does. It's, again, you don't think about it like a stencil. You just think about it as a guide. Like I got to put white in those areas. So jump back to the white. I may have to thin this out a little bit to get it to work. That's awesome, Paul. Welcome. Vampire Jet is great. What can go wrong? I love it. Patty, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to spray this off the side for a second to see how it's spraying. And you see how it like skips? Like I'm kind of rocking the trigger back and forth, but it's kind of like spraying, how it wants to. I want that to spray a lot smoother. So to do that, that's opaque white with a little bit of reducer in it. I'm just going to add more reducer, and this has 40-50 in it also. So it's a little bit of both. This is 1 to 2, 1 part 40-50 to 2 parts reducer. I've been using this mix a lot. Trying to get away from using the super reduced versions, just to give the paint a little bit more guts. Steve, I'm getting ready to start my first Harley Davidson painting. Any recommendations to do? I'm not doing a rusted one. That would be my first recommendation, Michael, not to do a rusted one. Nah, kidding. Yeah, Michael, I just, you know what? If you don't want to like go crazy on it, pick a view of it that's maybe not got a ton of stuff in it, like that painting that I did, Three Amigos, a while ago. It was like the tank was a major part of that that painting. And then off to the side, you could see a little bit of the motor. You know what I mean? Where if you have like a straight on side view of it, you have to do the motor, you have to do if it's a spoked wheeled bike, you have to do all that. And it can be overwhelming. So if you don't want to if you want a cool motorcycle painting, but not like something that will blow your head off, try to keep that stuff in mind to keep it a little bit more simple to start. That's what I'd probably suggest. Unless you want to torture yourself. I mean, that's sign painting is still something I would never do. Your VW painting, because that's just nuts. So it all depends on that. Other than that, I would treat each area as its own painting. You know, the motor with the chrome and all that. The bike parts, the painted parts are all one thing. And then, you know, help you kind of divide it all up. I may get you guys closer to his face. Maybe not. All right. So now I can try this again. I've added that. I've mixed it up. I've let it sit for a little bit. And now I get more control out of that white. So it sprays now throughout the whole trigger pull, which is great. Because here I don't need coverage. I do kind of need coverage, but I don't need a ton of coverage. What I really need is control. So I'll move the lights back so you guys get more light. Is that too much light? Probably. Everything's fine. We'll dump the light down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here, like that. All right. And we'll get going. So again, everything that's open here is, I know I got to put white in it. So I'll start with his lips because I want to. So I'm going to move this magnet over here so it doesn't squeal. Find out what's squealing. That's squealing. So for instance, his bottom lip, oh, that's lovely. That squeal is just excellent. It is the sound of our people. So what I've done here, hopefully you can see that. I'll move the magnet a little bit. In my reference photo, I've got those highlights of on his lower lip, right? So having that opening there, I know exactly where to put those highlights. I didn't spray the whole thing. I didn't I didn't go nuts on it. He does need a little bit in the corner of his mouth, so I'll do that. But all this does, again, it just tells me where to put stuff more than anything. So we do that. His upper lip has got a decent amount of white on it, so I'm just going to kind of lightly go over the whole thing. And then you notice there's a bunch of like these little flaps that are kind of cut out, like his eyebrow and everything. There's one below his nose here too. So those things are just kind of things that allow me, again, to figure out where things are. Occasionally, like here, like this is going to add the crease next to his nose just by default because the stencil is there. But it's not, again, it's not meant for that. It's a bonus, but it's just kind of there. All right, so his nostril here, same deal. I've got it all cut out, but it's really just gets a little bit of love. And then his eyes. So his eyes, the whites of his eyes are obviously white, so we're going to kind of give relatively solid coverage there. Tear duct is white as well. And then I'll do his, let's see, I'll do his other eye over here, but that kind of fades off into shadow, so that's all we'll do there. The other parts, like above his eye, right above, right below his eyebrow, same thing. The thing is all cut out, but really all I'm going to do is just kind of hit the middle of that. The same thing with this eyebrow too. You know, it's just the front side of it. If you have dogs, I apologize. This is really squealing. The beginning of the kind of the area under his eye. What else we got? His hands are special because, again, I don't want to get too crazy on everything below, say, the top of his shoulders, but I am going to kind of indicate stuff. So it's the same deal here. I'm going to start by just like painting in where the light is. The light's coming from the upper left, so part of his, you know, obviously the top of his hand here has a lot of light on it, so we'll get that. His fingers here, again, the top of his fingers. His pinky finger starts to roll over into the shadow, so We'll just kind of do the top part of it and his nail and there. There we go. Okay, so his hand, I've done that whole thing, but his this would be what, his middle finger? Yeah, his middle finger on this hand is a little bit darker on the bottom, so I didn't cut it all the way out, but I can do that now. So there's his index finger here, so pull that, and I can pull that right off. This is pretty like what they call like a destructive template, so as I'm working with this, I'm actually ruining it by pulling pieces off. I'll be able to use some of this template maybe later on, but for the most part it just gets pulled apart as you use it. So there we go there. And then the other thing is his middle finger on this hand. So same thing here. I've cut almost all of it out. So there's just a couple little tabs holding it in place, so I could just like pull that right off. It's a really cool way to do it. Is that Mike? Mike's brush. Mike, that 63 came out great. Speaking of freehand stuff, that was beautiful. All right, there we go. So his cuff down here is really white, right here at the bottom. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a hit. Again, I don't want it super bright because all that's going to be kind of trailing off at that point. His shirt up here, though, is very white. So we're going to hit that pretty decently. And the same thing with his shirt down in here. They're going to give that a good shot, too. Typically, a really cool way to do a portrait, especially with a person wearing a suit, is you kind of imply the shoulders, but then the chest area where the tie and the collar is, you can actually cut way down in there, which is really nice. It just makes for a nice classic portrait when you have his, his collar and his tie and everything. Obviously, he's blocking his tie with his hands, but you get the idea. All right, so the rest of his face. So his forehead has a lot going on. And I've done the same thing here. I've got it to the point where I can peel this right back like this and take it out if I need to, because his nose is there as well. So we're going to start by kind of like pulling this back a little bit. And the light for this is mainly right on the brow and the front of his forehead, like that. And the bridge of his nose, and then also the highlight on his nose, which what I can do there is, so there, you can see it right there, the little highlight right there. So what I do is I just kind of stare at it for a second, figure out where it's going to be, and then I can drop it in. It's right about there. So I didn't do that heavy because I'm going to do that after, once I get everything else done. Again, remember, this is just kind of like basic run through and get stuff in where it's supposed to be. All right, next up is his chin, which is right here, and it's the same deal here. I cut most of this out, but not all of it. And I'm going to do my best to keep track of comments, even though I'm going to be terrible at it today. Deidre, what's up? Hello. Awesome. Chin, the same thing. There's not a whole lot of light on his chin, so I'm just going to kind of imply the high point of his chin. And I think I've got everything. I want to double check real quick. I'm going to do a little bit on this other hand, even though I shouldn't, and a little bit more down on his cuff. Now his cheek, I do have his cheek here. This outside cheek has a good amount of white on it as well. So I'm going to fold that one back and see if I can pull this. I don't think I cut out enough of this to pull the whole thing, but we're going to find out. Nope, I did not cut enough of this, but we will. So again, this template becomes pretty much destroyed as I use it. So I'm going to just kind of pull away all this. So I'm going to leave his nose here because I need his nose to figure out where this other stuff is going to be. You guys are killing it with the suggestions. It's awesome. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So his cheek, it's mostly the high point on his cheek that has the light. So we're going to start with that. but it's also really the side of his face. So I'm going to give it a little bit of love across the whole thing, and then just kind of pull that up a little bit. His nose also gets some highlights when we're done with this, but for the most part, that's it. All right, so now we can pull this and see what we got. And again, I didn't hit this as hard as it's going to need to be hit. All I did was kind of like start to lay stuff out, and that's what we got. So what we want is, at this point, we want to be able to kind of tell who it is. That's a nice thing. And at this point, things are in the right spot. I feel pretty good about it, and it's coming along. All right. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do next, normally what I would do at this point is I would start like kind of fleshing things out, adding more of that white. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to indicate where the dark areas are first. And that'll, again, it'll just give me one more step to kind of figure out where things are. You know what I mean? 15 minutes. Perfect. It's supposed to be in the negatives tonight in West Virginia. Yeah, we're really cold here too in the OH. There we go. Brian, where are you? Brian. OH. Brian. Brian! I know, I've left you hanging enough, Brian. So, all right. So here is my my dark cutout. There you go, Brian. Thanks, man. There's my dark cutout, and it's the same deal. So what I've done is I've cut out all the areas that are really dark, but you see all those extra cuts in there, especially in his jacket. So those are going to kind of help me do extra stuff. All right. So we'll same thing, line this up. Obviously, at this point, things have to be really perfect. You know, I can't fudge it on this one, because if this stage is not lined up correctly, it becomes a big problem, because it'll just mean a mess. So check different areas like his shoulder. I'm looking at the side of his face, definitely his eyes. Most importantly is if his eyes are lined up, then, you know, everything else I can kind of work around. But if any parts of his face really aren't lined up, that's not a good look. It just means a lot of fixing. So look at his ear, the back of his head, that kind of thing. That's good. Same thing here. Like what I've done is I've cut out all the really darkest areas on the portrait. So he has hooded eyes, so the area under his eyes are really dark. His eyes themselves. He has a slightly open mouth. His mustache, for the most part, his hair. Not so much the shadow, although there is some of that. But that shadow is indicated too. A lot of the folds in the jacket. So I've cut out all the real dark areas. But I'm not going to spray them like as dark as they will be. I'm ready to go chase some largemouth. I know. I didn't see Mike Stevenson. Hey, Richard, how's it going, Richard? I haven't seen Mike Stevenson, but I'm sure he's ready to go fishing again too. Okay, do I have black in this still? I do. I have black from doing the background. If I can get this laid out by the break, I'll be really, really happy. Whoever gets a high bid, I will finish this. And even if I don't get it done tonight, obviously you won't get a half-finished portrait. We won't do that. Unless you're a painter and you want to finish it, then that's a whole other thing. I'll send you all my templates. All right. Well, my cutouts anyway. Same deal here. Obviously his hair is black, but I don't have to do that like black. I just have to kind of float this all in. So this is an example where I would kind of paint the whole thing. I could add a little bit of hair texture here, but for the most part, I'm just getting an idea, because what I'm going to do is as I get rolling on this, I'm gonna freehand all that other stuff. I just want to know where stuff's supposed to be. So next to his nose, his mustache too. Again, there's a lot of great texture there, but I'm going to ignore that. I'm just going to kind of put a light gray pass over it. Like that. I got to be careful on his hands and the jacket, because I don't know how far I want to go down. So for his, like down here, I'm just going to kind of fade it off a little bit and then see how that looks. Same thing down here, and same thing with the folds in his jacket. I want to indicate them, but I don't I know I don't want to spend too much time because I don't want the focus to be down on the jacket. That's good. That's good for the first pass. From there, I want to start lifting stuff up. Like I have this, the side of his face and his shirt and his tie all in one piece here. So we're going to pull that. The reason why I didn't just cut that out in the first place is because it's attached to his ear. So I wanted to get all those, the darker details on his ear down first before I pull this whole area like this. There we go. So again, I could try to save this piece, you know, but for the most part, I don't usually need it again. So, so yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to save it, but I don't have to. All right, again, for this side, it's going to get pretty dark, but I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of give it a light pass, just like that. What else? Oh, the other side of his mustache. Same deal here. His mustache gets really close to the area underneath his nose, so I left the side of it in. So we'll just kind of pull that a little bit. Yeah, it seems like beginner's luck plays the strongest when you go fishing with someone who's never gone fishing before. I don't know why that is. I really want the shadow under his lip too, but I didn't cut that out. I also really want the shadow next to his eye. So we are going to do a little bit of cutting right now. But I'll pull this and show you what we got so far. Oh, I missed underneath his finger. And I just, I'm dropping stuff on the floor. Timothy John Luke Smith, welcome. So there we go. So now I've got the dark areas on there. And that, like I said, that sets up things really nicely. Tim, thank you so much. What the heck, Tim? Why can't I do this? Oh, that's weird. It doesn't let you put a like thing on the super sticker. But thank you, Tim. Crazy. Thank you. So you see what I mean? So now I've got like just these like light indications of where things are. And again, that looks good. It looks like things are lined up where they should. Each step still makes it feel like it's MLK. You know what I mean? If that was off somehow, like it wasn't quite in the right spot, it's still early enough, and I didn't go crazy and you know, dump the darks in, and now I have to like try to fix it. This area here, which is really dark, I've just got it indicated. So not only can I make adjustments on it, but I can also do the actual fade into the side of his cheek where it rolls across his cheek. There's a transition from here to here that isn't real sharp. I can get that now because I didn't go nuts with it. But I do want to get like the areas around his eyes and that shadow under his nose just in the right spot. So we'll cut something. We'll cut it. Let me move Dr. King here. Yeah, I'm so glad. Yes, Tim is back. Tim is back. So he's on Wednesdays. Check him out. Tim's channel has always been there. So even, you know, even when he was away for a break, you could always go to his channel and watch the ton of videos he has. And he posts all his live streams too, so you could watch all his old videos, all his old live streams as well. Just a lot of fun. So do that. Okay. Keep putting my head in the way. So let's get these other things. So you can see, I don't have to zoom in, right? You guys are close enough for this. So there's this cool shadow around the orbit of his eye. It's kind of the outside of his eye socket. Again, it's pretty subtle. It's not very, you know, defined. So we don't want to. I don't want to like go crazy and do something that's again going to be something that I'm going to have to fight back from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out as much of this as I can. Let's do yeah, across his eyelid too, because I don't think I have his eyelid in there either. There we go. So I've cut out an area that's bigger than pretty much all of that, but I've got the general shape of that down. So that's what I've done. So a neat way to tell too is you pull it off and it's mostly all the same value. So that way you know you kind of cut out the right thing. The other thing I wanted to get, let's do this. I kind of want to know where this shadow is next to his nostril. It's a nice defining shape. Plus the crease right above his nostril too is a really nice shape as well. And then I'll just come in around the nostril again, which I know I already have. So again, this is just a really nice shape. And again, if I throw this up here, you can see it's all roughly the same value. So I kind of know that I've got, what I need. Now, for the shape underneath his lip here, this moves into a darker area. So you can do stuff like this. So I'll just kind of cut out this area like this. This is the shape I really want, is this kind of shadow next to his lip. So that's the one we want to get. And I want to kind of bring it down. Now, as it moves into this real dark area, I mean, I can cut this out, or I can do that window trick. So the window trick is basically just you cut out a bunch of it and then you can just fold it back. So I've talked about this before. I use this a lot on a complex template that I'm cutting out. So when I do this, when it's folded up like this, I know that I don't want to get anywhere near that. I just want to fade over to it. So if I have a transition from like dark to like a lot of paint to no paint, this will tell me that I got to fade it. Now on this one, there's only really one cutout like that. But on some of them, where's the white? Oh, well, where's the white one? The white one had a couple of them. Anyway, on a really complex one, there could be a lot of these little things, and I can't always keep track of them. So this really helps me do that by keeping them folded up like that. Yes, that's awesome. Bobby Silva, what's up, brother? Bobby, I'm coming back to the Massachusetts next week. I'm excited. I'm hoping they don't get snow like they did this weekend. It's not what I want to drive through, but we'll make it happen. Well, since I'm doing this, I might as well get a couple other things. Like his upper lip is another good one here. It obviously has a lot of shadow on it as it rolls around, so I'll do the same thing here. It fades to the center of his lip, so I don't want to go crazy with that, so I'm just going to leave it attached on that side so I know. The other stuff I'm going to have to freehand. See how subtle the light is here on the side of his nose? His face is turned towards the light. So you could cut this out, but if you do, you have to be really crazy careful about how much paint you put down on that. Shall I show you? Let's do that. This is where a not so great copier actually comes in handy, because the copier, if it doesn't have a ton of resolution to it, it breaks down those values, those areas, a lot easier for you. Now you can do that manually in a program, like a photo editing program like Photoshop. You can posterize it, which means you can choose how many values, how many different values there are in an image. So you could take an image like this and dump it down to only 4 values. It's very graphic, and it'll show you where a lot of the changes are. But I mean, 4 is a little bit steep. Like you don't get a whole lot of information with only 4. But if you did like 8 different values, it would make a lot of decisions for you on this, which is nice. All right, there we go. So again, I'm not going to pull this out yet because I want to see what happens with it, especially down in here because it's a little bit darker and I don't want to get an extra paint, because this has to be so little paint, it's crazy. Anything else? His hands. I really should do his hands. We're going to concentrate on his face for now. Again, I don't want to get too crazy on his hands because I don't want to take away from the rest of the portrait. So, even though the hands are part of the portrait, but right now they've got this really cool kind of graphic thing going on, which I like. All right, next up. Yeah. All right. So again, super, super crazy important. If you're going to do this, you really, really, really got to make sure you take your time as this thing progresses and line things up the way they should be. Make sure you triple check it, because again, nothing screws this up harder than if you go and blast this in there and it's in the wrong spot. So I don't even necessarily use areas on his face. I'm looking at things like the tip of this finger. So as I pull this up and kind of go back and forth real quick, that finger should be exactly lined up. And then the dip of his shoulder here, where the seam is on the shoulder, that's a cool spot. Or this fold down here. And if I got 3 or 4 lined up, or three parts lined up, then I know everything's in a good spot. And then you can double check it in here, like that. Like his eyes are super important, and yeah, I've got them. I just questioned that because his eyelid is right there, and it didn't look like it was lined up, but that's fine. It is on clay board, yes, Tim. I have a bunch of gesso board that I have to use. So gesso board is the same kind of thing, but gesso board has a lot more tooth to it. And I can still use it, but what I end up doing is I end up literally sanding the gesso till it's smooth, which is, if you're buying this stuff and you like it really smooth, don't buy the gesso board, just buy the clay board. It's really smooth. Other than that, gesso board's the same stuff. It just got a gesso on it instead of this. I don't know what the actual clay material is that they use, but yeah. All right, so let's do it. Because after we get this laid out, because this is the last bit of laying out, we'll do the giveaway. How about that? No, actually, Bobby, this is not. So we're taking bids on this. I think Gary has the high bid right now. So yeah, this is just for open consumption. All right. So again, for this pass, I want to make sure everything's really light, especially when I do the nose. I'll show you that last. So his eye, again, I want to kind of keep things where they're supposed to be. I don't want to just necessarily hose this whole thing down, especially on this side where it fades into his upper lid there. And then the shadow next to his mouth, same deal. I want to go real slow with that, real easy. Again, I'm just implying stuff. I'm just giving myself the information on where this stuff is. Upper lip, same deal. Ooh, that's nicely lined up too. That's lovely. So I'll get that in too. I did his nose, did his eye. So next to his nose. When I tell you, man, like a little bit, I'm talking a little bit, like so little. So watch, we'll pull this and I'll show you what I mean. We'll pull this off now because I've done next to his nose and I feel good about that, so I don't have to do that. So this is literally like just think about the paint going on there and that's it. Like that. I'll show you. You'll still be able to see it. To make sure that we'll see it, though, I want to leave a couple of the magnets on here so I don't have to readjust it if I do have to hit it again. But if I pull this, I should be able to see it, and you can. Can you see how subtle that is? But that rocks. That's perfect. That's all I need. Now, with that done, I've got a lot of this already laid out. There's still some stuff like the darkness of his eyes, all that. Yeah, there's lots to be done, but everything is pretty much laid out and where I want it to be. So this jumps back to way back at the beginning of the live feed when I was talking about, do you need to know how to draw? So normally someone who knows how to draw or has had a lot of practice doing figure drawing could get this to this point just by like looking at the photograph and transferring it just by looking at it and sketching it and making adjustments and changing things, and that's amazing and wonderful and it's awesome. You wouldn't need to know how to do that if you use this, if you can cut out stuff, you know what I mean? It gets you to the same point. The problem from there is, yes, you didn't need to know how to draw to get this thing laid out, but everything you would need to create a good drawing, you need from here on out with the painting. Even though I'm going to be using paint, it's all the same stuff. It's all light and shadow and value and transitions and making sure the shapes are the right size and all this stuff that you would use as a drawing student, you're going to use in painting. So don't get hung up on it. If you don't like drawing, you like painting, paint, but learn how to paint. That's what I'm saying. All right, sound good? There you go, Tim knows. Right, Tim, it's the same thing. It doesn't, you turn the forms no matter what you're using, pastel or oil or watercolor or graphite or cheese whiz or whatever you're using. It doesn't matter. So to hear, people ask, do I need to know how to draw? That's the kind of the complete answer to that. So I'm going to tell you though, if like as an artist, like as a like I love acrylic paints, and I learned how to. I really cut my teeth on watercolor and that kind of thing. I can never think, yeah, there's mediums that I'm not a fan of, but there isn't any medium where like I just hate that. You know what I mean? It's like being creative is usually kind of encompasses a lot of different things, and you usually enjoy a lot of different things. And I don't know too many people that are like, oh my gosh, I love painting, but I absolutely hate drawing. Like I despise it. Like I just can't do it. I mean, now not liking to draw is totally common, but if someone is a really good painter, chances are they're pretty decent with a pencil or graphite. Just saying. All right, so there's our MLK so far. I'm loving it. It's coming together. I'm happy. No surprises. But then you know what the saying is. What could go wrong? All right. Autobahn sealer. Autoborn. Speaking like I'm already back in Massachusetts. Autoborn sealer is great. I love it. All right. Oh, there's the white. Yeah. So the white had a lot of those little fold up things, right? So that's all just, kind of indicating where stuff is. Let's give away some stuff. Speaking of. All right. Have you been to the website yet? Have you bought stuff using the sale? Please do that. That would make me super happy. Again, since I'm getting set up for this, some of the paintings that I've put back on the site that you can own for your very self. Now, this first one I won an award on, and usually award paintings, this one here, lobster pot painting. This is from the restaurant down in Provincetown in Massachusetts. This one won an award at the South Shore Art Center show. Their big show. So this won the members award, the top members award, which is amazing. So going up against the members of that organization, I was a member when I was living there. I've let it lapse since I moved because I can't really be involved with them, and I don't like doing that. But winning that show was amazing, and this was the painting that won. So I took it down off like being on sale or being available, but I put it back up in case someone would really want this painting. I love this painting. If I die with this painting, I'm happy. But that's full circle. I had a contest to title it. There's a close-up of it, and it's 2 inches by 4 inches, roughly 2.5 by 4, something like that. It's small. It's got sand from Provincetown in the background of the frame. It's hardwood frame, that kind of thing, museum glass, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. So yeah, so this one's back up on the site if you are interested in it. The other one that's the kind of the mate to that one, which is, again, they kind of pair. Like I pull them down or I take them off the website in tandem, is the other one from Provincetown, and that's open. This one's called Open Studio, and it uses the same sand because Provincetown, has pretty much the same sand everywhere. This was of a gallery down in Provincetown in the springtime, just as they're getting rolling. So that's why I called it Open Studio. That little blue sign there on the first floor of that white building it was the gallery. Provincetown is amazing. If it's not a restaurant, it's an art gallery, and if it's not either of those two, it's the ocean. You're surrounded by the ocean, so it's a blast. The other one, the other Cape Cod painting that I put up, again, actually I don't think this one's ever been on the website, and this is Golden Yarmouth. This is from Yarmouth, Massachusetts, which is also down Cape Cod, but it's midway down the Cape. It's mid-Cape, right, Bobby? Is that Yarmouth mid-Cape? I never know. Upper Cape is like Falmouth and that fun stuff. Yarmouth, this painting was a blast. This is a little bit bigger painting. It's probably 6 inches by 8 inches. And again, the sand is from Colonial Beach in Yarmouth. I took this picture on a day like today. It was freezing. It was below zero. But I'll show you a close-up of it. But the beach was great. Obviously, it was deserted. And this painting it has a little extra fun bit that everything about this painting follows a golden ratio. So the golden spiral fits right on it. Every little transition, like where the land mass ends out there, ends on one of the points in the golden spiral. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. So what I did was I took the photograph and then I basically nudged everything around in the photograph until it kind of met that golden spiral, golden ratio. The easiest part to see the golden ratio in this is the square that the clouds take up. So that's a perfect square. And then the area below the clouds to the bottom of the painting is the golden ratio. So between the square and that rectangular. So anyway, a lot of fun. It was a great painting. Those three that I've just showed you are also, except Open Studio, but though I have prints of those too. So you can do that. What else did I put up? Oh yeah, another beach one, but not Cape Cod, is Muriwai Sunset. So I put this one up because, again, I was going to keep this one, but I don't know. I think it's okay if it goes to a good home. This is from Muriwai Beach in New Zealand. And it's a volcanic beach, so yeah, the sand behind there is from New Zealand, from the beach. And then the painting itself was a sunset looking out over this volcanic beach, which is pretty crazy. They have caves underneath, so, oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Do I have a photo of that one up close? Yeah, I do, hold on. Oh no, not that one, this one. Yeah, here's Muriwai up close. So you're actually standing on a kind of a ledge right now, and where the edge of the beach is there, that drops down, and then there's little caves that go underneath that the water has carved out from the lava stone, essentially. So then what happens is it just kind of wears out, and then you get little holes in the top part of it, and you get these little mist blasts, which are those two little things down in the lower left-hand corner. So it's kind of a neat place. I didn't get to go. My cousin actually went, and he got me the sand from there, and that's where this painting came from. So anyway, so there's a few that are on there that are normally not on there. Again, if there are any paintings like the Rusty Harley painting is not on the website, but if you want that one, you can. No, that one is. The Boston painting, One If by Land, is not on the site, or that might be on there too. I don't know. The Cincinnati painting is not on there. I know that because I haven't taken photographs of it yet. But if you're interested in that one, you can let me know. Alrighty then, let's get going on this. We got to give away a painting. So we're going to switch to this one. There are, oh, actually, I'll show you that list one more time. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Let me show you the paintings real quick. We'll move MLK down here for a second. Ah, thanks. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I love doing skies. Love clouds, all that fun stuff. What do we got here? All right. We'll go do them in reverse, I guess. Adam, our buddy Adam, last week asked for tenor sax. So that's what I got there. Tenor sax, that's number one. So again, if you win tonight, you can choose from one of these. Ooh, here we go. Gary Shees asked for Shooting Star, which is Racer X's car. Which is cool. I didn't realize in 2008 they built this car, which is what I painted the picture of. It's beautiful. It's crazy. I think that might have been for the movie. I could be wrong. I didn't do enough looking for that. Kyle. I know, no kidding. Kyle, you are playing the part of Ian this year. I shouldn't have said that out loud because that's a prophecy that may come true. Although, Ian will probably win right away this year. Last but not least, the Thunderbird, which was, who did that one? Someone has more of a brain than I do while I look it up. Thunderbird was James Cully, right? Yeah, James. James asked for the F-16 Thunderbirds jet. I've never seen the Thunderbirds. I've seen the Blue Angels a ton of times. I've never seen the Thunderbirds. Oh, wait. Maybe I have. I did. No, I did see the Thunderbirds. But I was a kid, so I didn't remember it. All right. There we go. So those are your three. And real quickly, that's not what I wanted. Where's my list? Where's my list? Where's chapstick? Here we go. This is your list. We'll get a close-up of that. All these fine people I had to do a double take right there because I'm like, oh, no doubles, but that's not a double. That's just two awesome people that know each other. All right, so there's your list. Excuse me. 33. I love that number. All right, so your winner tonight, did you remember your number? Because the winner tonight is taking its time, taking its time, taking its time. What? What is going on right now? There it is. Number 27. Do you remember? I don't. Number 27 is Mr. Christopher Garcia. Cheers to you, Christopher Garcia. I didn't see Chris on yet, but congratulations, Chris. Wait. No, Kyle's way up there. Kyle's like number 5. Kyle, you weren't even close this week. Congratulations. Oh, I wrote Gary Shees. I messed up here. No, not this one. Gary, you were close. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was the Shees curse. So that was it. All right. So congratulations, Chris. You won this week. That's hilarious that Gary was one off. Chris is here. Chris, if you want one of these 3, let me know before the end of the feed. If you know how it works. You can always go on the thing and do the thing and whatever. While the sale is going on too, I will say that you can use the credit and the sale. So, Chris, if you want something on the website and want to apply your credit to whatever you get, as long as it's not a negative, like this one here. No, actually not. But there are some things like the cherry painting that's super cheap. You could essentially have a negative, so you don't want to do that. But this one too, with the 40% discount, this one's like dirt cheap. So yeah, you can't go negative. If you do, it just zeroes out. So there you go. All right, hooray! Oh, Brian, look at you all. Trendy and cool like the kids do. 27-3. Well, yeah, James. Yeah, it was Gary who was too close tonight. It was the elder Shees who came close, but no cigar. All right. I do this every time. So, I do that cheers, and then I open it. I take 2 sips, and then by the time the end of the feed is here, it's warm. Chris, you'll PM me. Okay, great. So what's going to happen now is if you would like one of the 3 that are tonight, they will all go up on the site. Make sure you grab it right away. I'll put them up right after, but make sure you use the coupon code. Just type birthday in, and it'll give you 40% off whatever you choose. Take advantage of that. I need a Yeti can holder. Yeah, I know. Oh, his son is nonstop with it. It's so funny because I follow a bunch of YouTubers, and one YouTuber I really like I can't remember his name though. He's a linguistics guy, so he goes through and does these videos on like not only 6-7, but also other super like popular like things over the years and where they came from and how they came up, and it's really interesting. So he did 6-7, and it was interesting how utterly useless that is. Oh, James, that painting, what I'm finding with the 543s is for doing them for 5 years, and this is true with anything, practice makes perfect. I find that I'm making better decisions with the 543s these days. So to me, I'm liking them more and more. Like there are more of them that I'm like, oh, I want to keep that one. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Thunderbirds one is definitely one of those. I'm super happy with that. All right, let's do some more on this, and we'll see what we can do. I am going to get you guys closer because we are going to concentrate on the good doctor's face. So I want to get you guys a little bit closer and on this one to see what's kind of going on. You'll be at a little bit of an angle, but it'll be worth it because you'll be closer. Yeah, you got kind of an angle. But see how this is like really graphic? So again, going back to that Photoshop trick, this is what you would get if you did like, 3 or 4 posterized layers. it would kind of boil it down to like very strong, delineations between shapes, between values. So that's good if you're trying to figure it out. But you'll eventually need to, refer back to your reference photo to kind of fill in the gaps. All right, so again, this is what we got. So let's, what I generally do with a portrait is I'll usually start with the eyes and then move out. Again, the eyes are the window to the soul. And if you get the eyes right, pretty much everything else falls into place for the most part. People identify the eyes the most. I'm feeling really good about that right now. So we're gonna roll with that. Do I want to just go for it, or yeah? I think the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the rest of the details out of his eyes, and for that we'll use this little flip trick. What I need is scissors. So I'm gonna take the photocopy, and all I want is about an inch away from where I'm working. So I cut the photograph like right about there. Actually, I'll just jump out to this camera. So I've cut the photograph here, so it lines up just like that. Then what I want to do is I want to be able to flip this out of the way. So what I find is, to make life a little bit easier, I'll give this little piece of paper, it's a bit of a roll. So I just take like a straight edge like here, and then I just kind of like roll the paper over the edge a couple times, keeping my hand on the edge. And what that does is it just kind of makes the paper curl a little bit, and that just helps it when you go to start doing this kind of thing. You don't have to do this, but what I find is if I don't do it, I'll start putting dents and creases in the paper, and it doesn't really work out as cleanly. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of line up his two eyes and then just kind of flip it back and forth. You guys can't see what's going on. I'm going to switch the camera real quick so you can see what's going on with this, because it's important. After a while, you'll just you'll get it. Let me switch over to here. So I'm going to move you pretty much straight on the painting so you guys can see what I'm going to see, and then I'm going to move the camera back. All right. So eye training is super important in painting or drawing. So to take life drawing classes, or still lives, or even figure drawing classes where you go and you sit in front of a model, or not even a model, if you're even not figure drawing, even just a still life or architecture or whatever, to be able to look at something in real life and then translate that onto a two-dimensional surface and get the proportions right. Like, okay, this object here is this much bigger than the object next to it. And then to translate that, that's what being an artist is, that hand-eye coordination and that ability to make those decisions on what size things are in relation to one another. So there's the way you can do it too as well is just by persistence of vision, which is what we're doing here. So there are a couple ways to do it. Again, I could take the photograph, put it off to the side, and just kind of go back and forth and fill in the gaps by drawing it in, and then I'd have it all in there. But this persistence of vision thing works really, really well for getting things super accurate, because what happens is your brain, your eye sees the object, the reference photo, and then when you move it away real quickly, there's like this leftover, you could still see it on the copy underneath, and I'll show you that in a second. So we'll swap back to this so you can kind of see where we're at. So there's the photocopy, but when I flip this up for a second, like if you concentrate on his iris here, if I flip it up for a second, you can still see where it's supposed to be. And the lines, like if you look at the lid just above his, or the line just above his eyelid here, if you stare at that for a second and then I flip this away, even though it's not there, you can still see exactly where it should be. So that's an extremely powerful tool to start getting things in the right position. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to kind of do this and put things in where they should be. But I'll automatically, because I took the time to line this up, as I do this, you see how everything's pretty much lined up anyway. It's just when I do this, you can see all the extra details on here. When I pull it away, they're gone. So that's a really good sign. Everything's in the right spot. So let's switch back to this. I wanted to get so much more done on this. This is the problem with live streams. I love them, but talkie always slows me down. But that's okay. Kyle, you can do that. You can do eye exercises at the gym. That'll work. You got to lift weights with your eyes. It's a cool thing. All right, I am warming up sufficiently, so I'm going to take off Createx sweatshirt. I have 2 sweatshirts on because it's chilly down in the art cave. There we go. All right, so now the reason why I showed you guys that face on is because from an angle it doesn't translate as well. You'll see what I'm doing, but it won't, translate as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the palette cam so you can see it. Not that you need it because it's only black and white, but can't hurt. Hold on. There it is. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to start getting some of the details in around his eyes. And that'll help me lock everything else in. I've got enough white here. If I didn't have enough white on this eye, I would have to add that first, but I feel pretty good about that. So yeah, we're going to leave that pretty much there. All right. I have 2 blacks here. I have Autoborn Sealer Black, and I also have regular opaque black here. I was using the sealer on that little guy, the skeleton dude. Yeah, and this is sealer. I can tell by the way it's sealer doesn't paint real well with a brush. Once you like the way I dilute this down on the palette, I add a lot of reducer to it to get it to palette on the brush. The sealer does not like that. It gets all real grainy and weird and stuff. So switch to the opaque black. Oh, that's so much better, so much smoother. All right, so again, I've got these darker areas kind of in already, so I kind of know where I'm supposed to be going, and I use that flip technique to get the rest of the line in, so I can see where it's supposed to be going. And again, there's not too much of a difference. What? Okay, sorry. Wait a minute. Oh, done. Okay, cool. I don't know what I was doing. Sorry. So what I was going to say just a second ago was to me there's no difference really. I mean, it's only the tool between this and a pencil. Like if I was doing like this in pencil, I'd be kind of approaching it in the same way. You know what I mean? So again, if it boils down to that thing where, like, it is what it is. I mean, if you know one, you really have a good handle on the other. La 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 la. Cinderella Bridge in Mill Creek Park. Don, is that the Youngstown Mill Creek Park? Because I know where that is. Or is that a Mill Creek Park near you? Well, it could still be Mill Creek Park in Youngstown. Well, actually, Mill Creek covers a lot of towns, I think. So I'm adding the white highlights. Normally that's the last thing. But structure-wise, to get the rest of his eye in, I need to kind of know where those highlights are. So I dropped them in now. Nice. So again, just by kind of flipping it, I could see where things are supposed to be, and I just kind of drop them in. What we'll do is we'll get this eye pretty much done, so you can kind of see how it goes together. And then, essentially the rest of the painting is exactly the same. It's rinse and repeat. Some areas, don't need this level of exactness. Like his jacket, for instance. When I get to the folds in his jacket, they don't have to be like absolutely dead nuts on. You know what I mean? I'm gonna move this over a little bit so it's more to you guys. Oh, see, Youngstown Silver Bridge. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Oh, that was the other painting that I couldn't think of, and Dawn reminded me of it. So the painting that is currently at the Butler Museum in the Area Artist Show, that is also not on the website. But if you are interested in that painting, you can let me know. That currently is in the you need to want that more than I do category. So yeah, so I haven't decided to actually let that one go, but if someone says, yeah, that's the painting for me, I gotta have it, you know, then we could talk. And Dawn, if you're interested, you can actually go over and see that painting in real life. It's hanging upstairs at the Butler right now. There we go. So that's the eyelid, and what I'm doing is, so you obviously have this dark area around the, you know, his eye socket that kind of leads into the corner, this corner of his eye. All I'm doing is I'm just concentrating on these really dark areas here, and I'm just kind of getting those in the right spot before I do, you know, the other stuff. Give me a little bit of eyebrow stuff going on here too. Some of the darker areas of his eyebrows. Now, if there's an area like this right here, or in the corner of his eye, which is kind of, you know, it's got some definition to it, but it's still not super dark, I can mix up, or I can reduce a bunch of paint to get a really like transparent black. I've already got, no, I don't have it in here, good. So now I've got this really reduced transparent black, and I got something stuck on the brush. Or this brush is, no, this brush is, oh, okay. That brush was not doing well. All right. So I've got a really reduced version of the black right now. So now I can do the same thing here on an area like this where there's a little detail that I gotta kind of get in, but I don't want it to be black. It's just, it's gotta be like a little bit lighter. I can just kind of almost, and again, this is where Steve being a watercolorist comes into play. You don't usually do this with acrylic paints. You know, you don't usually water them down like this. But this is how, you know, I would get things done as a watercolorist. So it's a tool in the toolbox that I still use, and I keep pulling the paint up, which I gotta stop doing. There we go. Nice. Again, that's too defined for the airbrush, so we're gonna do it with the paintbrush. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit because I keep pulling the paint up. Dry that off a little bit. There we go. That's what I wanted. Nice. Oop. That's a little bit too much. There we go. Better. Okay, we'll let that dry for a minute. Happy birthday, Steve. Thanks. I know, it's my birthday week. Birthday all week. Birthday all month. Thanks, Terry. Terry, I was just talking about South Shore Art, and Terry still, I'm sure Terry still belongs to the Hull Artists, which is a group of fantastic artists that operate out of Nantasket. Hull, Massachusetts is the town, so it's a little peninsula that kind of juts out right across from Boston, but it's on the coast, like kind of north of Plymouth type of thing. So they got yeah, there we go. They got a great group of artists there, and it's right on the beach, and it's a blast. And the reason why I bring that up is because South Shore Art is in Cohasset, which is right down the street from there, and it's just a lot of the same artists kind of work between both. And they're fantastic. I came up again because I didn't let it dry. Well, you get the idea. All right, so let's switch to this brush. So now I'm going to use the airbrush on this. What I've done is, so I've kind of dropped in those areas that need to be in, like the darkest, and they tell the story, right? They tell me where stuff is supposed to be. So now that I've got that in, I can't believe I kept pulling that up. So we're going to have to wing it. Now I can kind of fill in the gaps with the airbrush where they need to be filled in. For instance, well, let's start with black. I don't want to try white. I'm going to try white first because I need to. If there's a choice between white and black, or light and dark, I'll do the light stuff first because of that blue shift. Oh, if Wayne's gone. Oh, there we go. Oh, you're in North Carolina now. Oh, all right, Dawn. You got out. I have found this affection for Youngstown that I did not think I was going to have. I think because Youngstown reminds me a lot of the textile cities in New England, like in Massachusetts, that kind of suffered the same. Not as grave as Youngstown did. Youngstown was a big steel and rubber town. It really was. A lot of the industry in the city was steel and rubber, and then as things in the 80s changed and shifted around, they basically lost all that industry, and that basically like crushed the city. They're bouncing back. It's nice to see, but yeah, it reminds me a lot of the New England textile cities that, along the coast that would be heavy into textiles in the beginning of the century or last century, and then when the textile industry just kind of up and vanished, you had this huge depression in these cities. So Youngstown felt a lot like that, so I was able to catch that vibe right away. Yeah, let's do white first. So for the white, make sure it's spraying decently. I'm just going to kind of fill in the gaps on those highlights, hopefully. If it's going to spray right. Yeah, nice. Because I want to do this now before I get too far in with the shading, because if I don't, then I'll get that shift that I really don't want. So again, remember how I put in like the fold under his eye, just as a little bit of a triangle. Now I can pull that out a little bit, and I can add, now that I know where his other cheek is, I can add the little bit of a highlight on there, because I know exactly where it's going to be, because I've got the crease of his nostril and his cheek, so that I can just drop that in the right spot. So it really does help. I finally, Marge and I watched Gran Turismo last night. I hadn't seen it yet. I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I knew the story, but I was surprised about how decent the movie was. It was nice. Adam, have a great night. That's awesome. I don't blame her. I do not blame her. We're just about done in a few anyway, so that's great. All right, so you get the idea. If we were spending a little bit more time on this right now tonight, I would do the white pretty much everywhere, but the goal then tonight is to get this eye done. I think we're still at 75 for Gary, so it is what it is. Oh, you know what though? No, because, all right, so I don't know if Patrick's still here. My goal when I got back from my trip is to share the lock that I'm painting for him. So we're going to do a live feed with that. I was going to say we'll do another round of MLK, but I don't think we will, because there's other stuff we need to get done. All right. So yeah, whatever the final bid is tonight on this, that's what it's going to be. All right, so I'm going to, it's too dark. It's all right. It's because it's not terrible. So we're going to fix that right now. A little bit of extra something came out. This little spot next to his eye has become the bane of my existence. So I'm going to remove some of the paint there, just a little bit of it. Because it hit kind of hard, but not terrible. That's fine. Everything's fine. So this, I think this is really reduced black, but I still think it's too intense. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of that 40-50 to it to really get it thin. I want this really, really like subtle so that I have a ton of control over this. All right. Oh, this is much better. There he is, Pat. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the goal. I've got a cool steampunk thing that's lined up for that lock, and I do want to do that on a live stream. So, all right. So what I'm doing is something that's much smarter now. I'm picked an area that's not as critical. You know, it's that little tiny spot right there that's like super crazy. So I picked his eyebrow because if the airbrush isn't working real well here, it's okay. It's not going to kill the painting. You know, where hitting that exact spot could have been a problem, but it wasn't, so it's good. So now, again, it's really just connecting the dots, you know. And this, honestly, this is the detail part of it is my favorite part of any painting. So it's just connecting the dots and, you know, getting the forms to turn, as Tim said, and kind of getting everything to kind of go the right way, and not necessarily worrying as much about the big forms. You know, like the big forms are making sure that his eyes are in the right spot and they're the right overall shape so that they look like Martin Luther King, right? Those are the big forms and the big job. Make sure his nose is in the right spot, and you know, the other areas are right. Once that's done and you're down to just like kind of getting the details in, meaning, you know, finishing up those value changes and things, that's what I really enjoy in any painting. So this stuff is really, really what makes me happy. I love getting to this point. I'm not sure if that side is too dark yet. We're going to see what that's going to look like. But again, what's nice about this black, the way I have it set up, is it is super, super crazy thin or transparent. So I can really, really take things slow. That's the goal. There is no rush, especially in an area around the eyes, to get things done. You know, you want it to be right, and the way you do that is just kind of creep up on it, for me anyway. You know, I've seen, you know, especially like Mike was here earlier from Mike's Brush, because he's runs his career, you know, he has a crazy good t-shirt business. You have to be so fast with t-shirts and so accurate, and that type of training makes it so he can just knock stuff out. You know, like it'll look like his Corvette he did that so much faster than I could ever do it, and it looks mint. You know what I mean? So it's all about, you know, how you approach it and how you get that training done. This crease above his eye in the front is a little bit thinner than I have it, the white part, but I might deal with that a little bit later. All right, so the thing I'm worried about is the harshness of this edge here. I hit it a little bit too hard. And again, you know, let me cut this out. This is not black, but it's pretty dark. So if I hold this next to that area, see how much darker this is than that? So it's not really that super dark, but against this gray, it's very dark. So Roberto, have a good night, brother. So I'm gonna just erase a little bit of this and take the edge off, so to speak. Want to be real careful. I want to just kind of work on that edge. And what's nice about this particular portrait is MLK had some skin texture. You know, he had some pores in his skin that you could actually see. So that kind of not baby smooth surface it plays into me like being able to lighten this up, or cut out that edge a little bit without having to have it be like a perfectly smooth transition from one to another. This whole area is going to be darker anyway, so I don't have to go nuts, but I don't want that harsh edge to be compounded as I move along. I want that transition to be nice and smooth. So I'm just kind of poking at the edge of this, taking out that sharpness. The good news is this Autoborn sealer, this gray that's under here, is super tough. So I could erase it this all day and I will never get through the sealer. I'm just going to take off the black paint, I mean, if I took a knife to it, yeah, I could dig down through the sealer down to the clayboard, but with an eraser, you'd have to have a super aggressive eraser to get that done. Yes, and Martin Luther King's birthday is on the 15th, officially. But we always celebrate it on the Monday. All right, so that looks good. That looks good. So now I can stretch that edge out a little bit and kind of get a feel for if that worked or not. And it did. It did. It looks fine. So this cheek too, remember how light I did that? This is going to be really dark when I'm done, or a lot darker. So that's going to, play out really nicely. Yeah, this really reduced black is great. So again, the trick to this, and I know a lot of people fight with black and white and details and all that stuff. For me, the real trick is two things. One, it's the opaque paint from Createx works really well when you reduce it, which that wasn't always the case. Usually if you have to take a paint and you put a bunch of reducer in it, the paint falls apart. It actually sprays worse. It clumps up. It's nasty. The opaque line really didn't, especially the black. But what was the thing that bumped me over on it was adding a little bit more 40-50 to it, that transparent paint, the clear that they sell. That really gave me that final push into something that was like really super controllable on such a fine detail level, So good work for Createx on that. If they ever change the formula, I'm just going to buy gallons and gallons of black and white. And I shouldn't say that, because this improvement was great. So if they make another improvement, well, likely it'll be better than even this, which would be awesome. Hard to erase. Yes, absolutely does. Thank you for mentioning that, Mike. It does. If you add 40-50 to the paint, it won't erase as easily. However, that being said, I have this stuff so reduced and I add so little 40-50 to it, you could still erase it. It becomes harder and harder to erase as the more layers you put on, but you can still get at it. So if you do a lot of erasing techniques, yeah, you wanna think about that. Thanks, Michael, for mentioning that, because that would have been a problem if people use a lot of eraser techniques. 40-50 does add a lot of strength to the paint. All right, so I want to close that gap a little bit. So see this? I'll point to it. It's really close. I mean, it's not terrible, but this little white area on the inside of his eyelid and his upper eyelid, his eyelid area there. That gap is a lot tighter than I have it there. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of white here, or grayish white. Actually. So don't forget, guys, go buy something. Make me a happy camper. say it all the time. You know, I'm a really like loving that the YouTube channel is growing and it's great and that kind of thing. But selling, you know, selling works and selling prints and all that, that's really what still keeps the lights on. I would love it if it's swapped over and I do more with the YouTube channel than I do in art sales, you know. But for now, it's pretty much still, you know, selling a painting keeps the lights on. So please do that. Your presents happen on my birthday. All right, there we go. Why not transparent black? So the opaque black works so well when you reduce it. It's like a Swiss Army knife. That is an excellent question, by the way. Dawn. I had to squint to see who said it. That's an excellent question. So for me, I have a whole video on this, and it's all about like simplifying things, streamlining things. And for me, I would rather have one black that does everything than 6 blacks that I have to swap between, which is totally a great way to do it. You know, I haven't used transparent black or, you know, illustration black in years. And it could be God's gift to painting. You know what I mean? But I've gotten, you know, the opaque black to work so well. And the beauty of it is I could paint this whole panel solid black. You know what I mean? I could just mix it up normally, add about 10% reducer to it, put it in the Eclipse CS, and literally cover this thing and it would be black as night, like absolutely opaque. Or I could do what I do with it and wipe the thing out and make it super transparent and use it for these really tiny details. So it does everything for me. You can't do that with transparent black. Like you can't, you know, you can't black out a panel, or you can't like necessarily add the super darks with it. So, I mean, you can in a way, but not like the opaque black. So that's the short answer to that. Again, I'm not saying that what I do is the right way. Absolutely not. It's just I've always found more success when you kind of keep it simple. You know what I mean? Like, for the palette's a perfect example. Like, I'll have 8 colors that I use all the time, and I'll just mix everything. It's easier for me than having 40 colors and having to try to dig through to find the right green that I'll have to modify anyway. You know what I mean? So I hope that answers the question. It is an excellent question. So, all right. I like it. I like it a lot. Show what I mean. I'm going to add a little bit more to the side of his face, and because I don't want it, because right now it looks like he was punched, you know, and got a black eye, because I've done all this work around his eye but not done any of the area around his face. So we don't want that. It's so funny because, you know what, it's not that I don't, you know, that I didn't like doing portraits, but portraits were never really my favorite growing up. Like I just loved doing technology. You know, I loved painting cars and stuff. I have found this love later on, like now, of portrait painting that I would have bet money that I would have never found. You know, again, it's not that I didn't like painting portraits, but I just didn't get the same enjoyment out of it as I did painting cars and, you know, whatever, motorcycles or whatever. But now I really, really love it. I find a tremendous amount of enjoyment in it. And, you know, you got guys here like Tim that excel at it and have always painted portraits and know exactly what I'm talking about. They felt the love and the thrill of that all along. So I think it's funny that it took me, you know, 57 years to get to that point. All right, I think it looks good. I'm gonna switch the camera a little bit. I'm gonna move you here so I can aim this camera kind of straight down at the portrait so you guys get a more head-on view of it. But that's what it's looking like so far. So since we were talking about this thing, you know, we were doing this and I was kind of explaining things. It took me about, what, an hour and a half to get it to this point. I'll be able to finish this portrait now in probably about 2 to 3 hours. So it's going to go fairly quick. Again, with the way I'm going to handle it too, like not having a bunch of detail in the jacket and hands, it's going to go pretty quick. But an average portrait like this would take me about 10 to 12 hours. So here we go. So that's what it looks like straight on right now. Make sure that's focused, which it's not. But there you go. So yeah, so I mean, you see what I mean? Like even at this point, like I'm not worried about doing this other eye. Everything's in the right spot. His mouth is in the right spot. I've got plenty of information to do that. Even his fingers, which hands and fingers can be a nightmare for an artist. Everyone always says hands and feet are always the part that they don't like to do. But everything's really laid out well here. I know where things are supposed to be. So that, you know, if you're having trouble, you know, drawing one-to-one, this cut paper technique really does help a lot to kind of get things in the right spot as you're learning, you know, that relationship skill that comes the more you do. JC, have a great night. You guys are awesome. I was about to say it looks like Muhammad Ali. That's great. Yeah, no, he's looking okay. He's gonna look just like MLK when I'm done. I'm pretty happy. Oh, let me show you so that's the reference photo. So yeah, he's come along just fine. But you also see how dark it is on his cheek now too, and how light I had that originally. Again, it wasn't designed to be that dark color. I wasn't trying to match that color at all. I just wanted to know where it was. So now as I darken this up with the airbrush, or if you were doing pencil, you could do it the same way or whatever. You know where that shape is roughly. So that helps you kind of get everything locked in. But see, that's like pretty much black down in here. And it will be here too. So that's all gonna work, you know? Just a matter of getting it in the right way. But there you go. That's what I got. Let me switch over this because you don't want to look at that. There we go. All right, so congratulations to, as I move things around. Congratulations to Mr. Garcia. Let's do that. There we go. Good job. If you haven't got your 543 suggestions in yet, do that. You have a few more minutes. You can still win next week. There will be a feed, as I said, there'll be a feed next week. We will be at the House of Hanson in beautiful Bridgewater, Massachusetts. I'm really looking forward to that. We haven't talked about what we're going to do yet. I just might make him work, and then I'll just talk to you guys. I will have, I should have 543s to give away. New ones. If I don't have new ones, it doesn't matter. We're still going to do a giveaway next week, so that's good. But if I don't have new paintings next week, that's fine. Like I said, we'll still give one away. And then the following week, same thing. We'll do a feed. There probably won't be new paintings because I would have been traveling, but we'll still do the feed on Monday. So that none of that changes. Time lapse is already up for this week. It should be up for next week too. It's the week after that might be rough, and the same thing with Open Studio. Open Studio is ready to go on Wednesday. We're getting close on the Tokyo painting, so that's good. And that's what I got. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. Again, the code for the website is birthday. Just type in birthday in the code section, and it'll give you 40% off everything. So definitely take advantage of that. And that's what I got. You guys absolutely rock. I love you guys so much. And if I missed a comment, just send it to me, and we'll get it done. All right. Have a great night. I love you guys. You guys are great. I have no idea what you're going to see when I do this. Oh, you're going to see Mirawai. So here we go. I'll catch you guys soon.